James had $2 million in the bank. His car was worth $4,000, not a mistake, a choice. Because the day he actually got rich was the same day he stopped looking rich. Most people spend their whole life chasing the image. He spent his chasing the number. Here's exactly what changed the moment he crossed it. Part 1. The rule he broke first. 5 years ago, James was making $62,000 a year as a warehouse supervisor. He drove a used sedan with 200,000 miles on it. Nobody looked at him twice. Today, his net worth sits at $2,011,000. Same car, older now, still worth about $4,000 if he sold it tomorrow. Here's what's strange. Every financial advisor will tell you the same thing. As your net worth grows, your lifestyle is supposed to grow with it. Bigger house, newer car, better everything. That's the script everyone follows. James read that script too, and for the first 2 years after he crossed his first $100,000, he followed it exactly. He leased a car that cost him $900 a month. He upgraded his apartment. He started eating out 4 times a week. Within 18 months, his savings rate dropped from 40% to 6%. His net worth barely moved. That's when he noticed something nobody had told him. Every person he'd ever met who had real money, not flashy money, actual 7-figure net worth, drove something ordinary, wore something ordinary, looked honestly a little boring. At first he thought it was a coincidence. It wasn't. So he ran an experiment. He sold the leased car. He downgraded his apartment. He kept the same salary, the same job, the same life, except for one thing. What he changed next is the exact reason his net worth crossed $2 million while his car stayed worth $4,000. Part 2. The one thing he changed. Here's what he actually did. He stopped upgrading anything the moment his income went up. Every raise, every bonus, every extra dollar, instead of going toward a better car or a bigger apartment, it went straight into index funds, automatically, before he could even see the money, let alone spend it. He called it his 48-hour rule. Any purchase over $200 had to wait 2 days. Not because he couldn't afford it, because he wanted to see if he still wanted it once the excitement wore off. 9 times out of 10, he didn't. Within a year, his savings rate climbed back to 44%, higher than before he'd started spending. His net worth, which had been stuck for 18 months, grew by $31,000 in that single year alone. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. The people around him started treating him differently. Coworkers stopped asking him for loans. Friends stopped assuming he'd cover dinner. Nobody asked him for financial advice because nobody knew there was anything to ask about. He didn't just save money. He became invisible to the people who drain it. And that invisibility, the plain car, the ordinary apartment, the boring lifestyle everyone else saw as a step backward, is precisely what let his money compound without interruption for the next 4 years straight. But there's one number in this story that matters more than any other. The number that decides whether all of this actually works or completely falls apart. Part 3. The number that almost broke him. The number is 72, divided by your return rate, and it tells you how many years your money takes to double. At 7%, that's roughly 10 years. James ran this the day he started his experiment. 100,000 becomes 200,000 in a decade, then 400,000, then 800,000. No extra deposits required, just time and staying out of his own way. 2 years in, that plan got tested. The market dropped 19% in 4 months. His $200,000 fell to $162,000 on paper almost overnight. Coworkers pulled their money out that same week. A friend sold his entire retirement account near the bottom, turning a paper loss into a permanent one. James didn't touch a single dollar, not because he was fearless, because he'd already decided months earlier exactly what he'd do if this happened. The decision was made before the fear ever showed up. 14 months later, the market recovered. His portfolio didn't just catch up, it kept doubling right on schedule, as if the crash had never happened. That single decision, deciding in advance instead of deciding in panic, is worth more to his net worth today than almost anything else in this story. But staying calm during a crash turned out to be the easy part. The hard part started the moment the market recovered and everyone around him expected him to finally start spending like a millionaire. Part 4. The cost of staying invisible. Saying no wasn't hard once. It was hard every week for 5 straight years. His brother bought a new truck and asked why James still drove that old thing. James just said he liked the car. A coworker got the same promotion James got, then moved into a luxury apartment downtown. James stayed exactly where he was, paying $1,100 less every month, money that went straight into the market instead. At a wedding, someone joked that James must be bad with money for still renting a one-bedroom at 34. He let them believe it. Here's what that actually bought him. Every dollar he didn't spend on upgrades went in during the same 5 years the market recovered and kept compounding, untouched, at the exact moment it mattered most. The version of James who bought the truck, the apartment, the upgrades everyone expected, he'd have less to invest every single month. He'd have more debt payments to protect. And when the market dropped 19%, a version of him already stretched thin is far more likely to have panic sold like his friend did, locking in the loss for good. Run that forward 5 years, and that version of James isn't sitting on $2 million. He's lucky to be sitting on a third of it. He's not richer because he earned more. He's richer because he looked poorer, on purpose, longer than anyone else around him was willing to.
Hey, if this video gave you something to think about, that's exactly why I make these every single day. Most of this stuff nobody ever teaches you, and I just think that needs to change. So if you got value today, hit subscribe.